It's getting late in the year, it's fall, the sun's not as high, we're not getting as much sun, but more importantly, stuff that we grew is blocking sun from stuff that needs it, so we're gonna make some space today. We're gonna take a break from the greenhouse and we're gonna make some sunlight hit our garden. This bed here has kind of been a hot mess, but we're kind of letting some things go to seed because there's a shortage of seeds this year, and in case there's something next year, we wanna get some seeds, so this huge okra plant, which is, I mean, it's well over 10 feet tall. We're letting those pods up there go to seed. And then the pepper plant, we're gonna take some of them off, but we're gonna let the ones that are fully mature, we're gonna let these continue to turn into seed too, hopefully. We still have another couple weeks before we get a good cold, so hopefully we can get something to change. And the same with our green beans, something has just gone to town on them. I mean, damn, it must have been hungry. But we're gonna let all of these go to seed, and I haven't even checked for a couple of days. There might be some that are ready to come off. I'm not really seeing anything. No, they're getting close though. So they gotta dry up a little bit, but we're gonna let those go to seed, and then we should have green beans for next year. I was happy with the way they produced, but I wasn't happy with the way I was able to manage the pests. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up taking some of these out and getting more light here now that we're getting less light during the day, and then it'll help with other things to grow. That's the one thing about fall gardening that you don't really realize, is it's not always the most beautiful right away. It takes a little bit of effort to get there, but we're gonna get there. It's, you know, a solid couple hours of just cleaning out certain plants and getting room made and stuff like that makes all the difference in the world. Remember that big old okra tree I just showed you? These ratcheting clippers are going to help us get it down. So let's get to it. It's depressing to cut this thing down, but all this shade that it made, it's got to go. And we got another one out back that we are using for the to grow seeds, so shouldn't be too bad. But yep, one down, no more to cut down. But it is sad, this thing got to be a damn tree this year. Even though we cut this thing down, we don't want to waste anything, so I'm gonna cut all of the fruits that are on it off. That, I mean, they're too woody at this point. I mean, I wouldn't eat these, and I wouldn't expect you to eat them either. But what I do expect to eat them is my chickens. So we're gonna give these to the chickens. Up. And if you're lucky, you might find a keeper on there. So we'll keep this little guy. All the leaves off and put those into our compost pile. And then that will give us more compost for next year. So even though we cut this plant down, we still have plenty to do with it and plenty that it can give back to the garden for next year. And that's important to remember. Everything that you grow can be reused in some way, somehow. If not just composting, feeding it to your chickens, saving it for seeds, anything like that. Try and get as much as you can, because you put a lot of hard work into your garden and you want to get as much as you can out of it. Some of my compost got some water in it that left in the wheelbarrow, so I'm gonna dump it out and let it dry out, and then add it to any other plants or areas that I need it. It's not much, but a little bit of compost when you stick a plant in the ground or something can make all the difference in the world. In my compost pile, I do a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, a little bit of live, and a little bit of dead. And that usually helps make a more balanced compost pile. I don't really get too mixed up in the science. I mean, it's all gonna do what it's gonna do anyways. So now's the moment of truth. Do you think that the chickens are gonna go crazy for the okra, or do you think they just don't care? Let's find out. Right here, just cleaned up a little bit so there's more light that can get through, but it's still so warm. I don't, those days come, and I think they're almost to an end, but I don't want them to burn what we've got going on here. So we're just trying to clear it up a little bit, make it a little bit, a little bit more light come through. I mean, look, if I don't get any seeds out of it, oh well, but it's worth a shot, right? But I need to kind of balance what I do. So really, this is just a test for right now. I've never really saved a lot of seed, and that's fine with me. If I save one seed and it grows, it's a success, and that's really what matters to me. Well, now it's official. Fall is here, the okra is down in this garden, and now when the sun comes directly behind me in the afternoon, it blares down right here, but it shaded everything super bad. So all of this was just struggling to get enough sunlight. I mean, we already are getting about right at 6 hours. So if you take into account the fact that the okra was there, we were only getting like 4 hours to 3 hours because of that. So now that it's gone, we're good. So if you guys have a garden and you're planting in the fall and it's not doing as well as you'd hope, maybe you have a sunlight issue. Maybe your stuff's getting shaded out by other plants that you're trying to hold on to, like tomatoes, peppers, okra, all those summer crops that are just kind of finishing up and dwindling out. So go ahead and think about maybe either trimming them like we did the pepper or removing them like we did the okra. I know it's sad, but you always have next year, and you want to get as much as you can out of the space. So think about it, do what you can, and thank you for checking us out. Thank you for listening. Check out the Backyard Gardens podcast. Give us a like and subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.